Imagine this: China, the world's manufacturing giant, just slashed tariffs on all goods from the poorest countries it has diplomatic ties with. And guess what? 33 African nations are about to flood China's markets tax-free. But why now? What's China really up to? This isn't a random act of kindness. China's move to eliminate tariffs on goods from developing countries, including 33 African nations, is a game-changer. It's not just about trade, it's about strategy. In this episode, we'll break down why China is making this bold move and what it means for Africa, the US, and global trade in 2024. Let's rewind. China's relationship with Africa has been decades in the making. Since the early 2000s, trade between China and Africa has exploded, with China becoming Africa's largest trading partner by 2020, surpassing $254 billion in trade volume. Through infrastructure projects, investments, and now zero tariffs, China has cemented itself as Africa's go-to trading partner. The Belt and Road Initiative, just one piece of the puzzle. But here's what makes this new move so important. Africa's exports can now compete in the Chinese market, making this a monumental win for African economies. In 2022, China-Africa trade hit a whopping $254 billion. Now, with these new tariff exemptions, expect that number to soar. Minerals, textiles, agricultural goods, Africa's wealth is about to flow freely into China. For example, Ethiopia's coffee and Ghana's cocoa could become staples in the Chinese market. This could provide much-needed economic growth for some of the world's poorest nations. So why now? Here's where it gets interesting. This move isn't just about economic goodwill. China's GDP growth has slowed, and it's looking to boost trade relationships amid rising global economic uncertainties. This tariff exemption is part of a strategic shift to ensure China's influence in Africa remains strong, especially as the US and Europe are preoccupied with their own economic challenges. By solidifying these ties, China is ensuring its place as Africa's go-to trading partner. And let's not forget, this is happening at a time when global power structures are shifting, particularly in trade and currency. This tariff move could also signal a larger shift in the global economy: de-dollarization. By offering African nations a stronger economic partnership, China is reducing the world's reliance on the US dollar. If more nations start pivoting towards the Chinese yuan, this tariff-free deal could ripple across global markets, making China an even more dominant economic force. The implications are huge. Countries like Egypt and Nigeria, with strong agricultural sectors, could see their currencies strengthened as trade partnerships evolve. For African nations, this deal couldn't come at a better time. Countries like Ethiopia, Ghana, and Senegal stand to gain massively. They'll now have access to one of the world's largest consumer bases without being bogged down by tariffs. This means more jobs, more trade, and hopefully, less poverty. The African Continental Free Trade Area Initiative also aligns perfectly with this, aiming to boost intra-African trade. But there's a catch: relying too heavily on China can come with strings attached. Could this deepen Africa's dependency on Chinese investments? The US and Europe are watching this closely. As China expands its economic footprint in Africa, Western nations are losing ground in one of the fastest-growing regions in the world. The US has been focused on providing aid rather than trade, and with China offering direct economic opportunities, will the US pivot towards deeper engagement with Africa? If not, we might be looking at a power shift that favors Beijing. So, what's next? This tariff-free trade agreement could have profound impacts on global trade. African economies could surge, and China might solidify itself as the central hub of global commerce. But this could also deepen the divide between the East and West in the global economic order. One thing's for sure, the world will be watching. So what do you think? Is China's tariff-free deal the key to unlocking Africa's economic potential, or is there more to this than meets the eye? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button. Oh, and share this with anyone who needs a deeper understanding of global trade in 2024. See you in the next one.